This episode is sponsored by me and Learn Light and Sound. We have courses on how to improve your sound and lighting. Link down below. Please buy my courses. Full disclosure, Saramonic sent me the K9 wireless microphone kit to make this review, and I bought the DEITY THEOS and the Sound Devices A10, A20 Astral professional wireless microphone system, so just needed to disclose that. This is our next test in the Saramonic K9 review series. We're going to do it in this series. It's just too much to try and do it all in one video. So here we're going to listen to some raw audio samples of the K9 system, along with samples from the DEITY THEOS and the Sound Devices Astral system. Now, the Sound Devices is not a fair comparison. It costs literally 8 times more than the Saramonic K9 system for the same number of like 2-channel mic system. And the DEITY THEOS is a very, very close competitor, both in terms of price, they're within $100 of each other, and in terms of features, the DEITY THEOS is very similar too. But one complaint I have heard, the DEITY THEOS has been out for a couple of years now, about a year and a half. One complaint I've heard from some people about the DEITY THEOS system is that there's some audio quality issues from some people's standpoint. They say that the wireless audio has some odd high-frequency artifacts or odd sounding peculiarities at about 15 kilohertz and above. And so the first question I think people are going to ask is, do those same issues apply to the Saramonic K9? How does it do? And how does it sound next to the Theos? And how does it sound compared to a really high-quality, very expensive wireless microphone system? Well, let's test that. So here are some recordings made at the exact same time with the K9 system, with the DEITY THEOS system, and with the Sound Devices Astral system using the A10 transmitter and the A20 receiver. All 3 of these were recorded at the same time into the Sound Devices 888 recorder, so it's not like we're limited by poor sound quality at our recorder. And in post, I haven't done anything to the audio, no compression, no other processing, no EQ, nothing except to loudness match all of them to minus 23 LUFS, okay? So these also all 3 use different microphones. So they are going to sound different. That's okay. What I want you to listen for is, do you hear any high frequency sound that doesn't sound right? It sounds odd or peculiar or digitally processed or anything like that. So here are the samples. This is a test recording. I'm recording with all 3 of my wireless kits right here. This is the Saramonic K9. It's the DEITY THEOS, and it is the Sound Devices Astral A10 transmitter with the A20 receiver. So it's kind of a mix and match there. But what I want to do is bring this in and look at the spectrogram and see what each of these systems are doing in terms of compressing the audio. In some of them, we notice that there is potentially some problems where it is doing some funky filtering at the top end of the frequency spectrum. By top end, I mean above about 15 kilohertz, excuse me. So let's see what we get here. This is a test recording. I'm recording with all 3 of my wireless kits right here. This is the Saramonic K9. It's the DEITY THEOS, and it is the Sound Devices Astral A10 transmitter with the A20 receiver. So it's kind of a mix and match there. But what I want to do is bring this in and look at the spectrogram and see what each of these systems are doing in terms of compressing the audio. In some of them, we notice that there is potentially some problems where it is doing some funky filtering at the top end of the frequency spectrum. By top end, I mean above about 15 kilohertz, excuse me. So let's see what we get here. This is a test recording. I'm recording with all 3 of my wireless kits right here. This is the Saramonic K9. It's the DEITY THEOS, and it is the Sound Devices Astral A10 transmitter with the A20 receiver. So it's kind of a mix and match there. But what I want to do is bring this in and look at the spectrogram and see what each of these systems are doing in terms of compressing the audio. In some of them, we notice that there is potentially some problems where it is doing some funky filtering at the top end of the frequency spectrum. By top end, I mean above about 15 kilohertz, excuse me. So let's see what we get here. Now, before anyone says, oh, Curtis, you can't do these kind of tests on YouTube, the YouTube compression ruins everything, I also have raw wave files that have not been processed available. I'll put a link down below for those. So, first question, could you hear any of these odd high frequency peculiarities in the highest frequencies on any of these samples? Let's look at the recordings with a spectrogram. So if I bring these into Isotope RX, the top one is the Sound Devices Astral system. Second one is the Saramonic K9. And the bottom one, the third one, is the DEITY THEOS. Now, notice that especially the THEOS sample appears to be doing some sort of filtering and or gating above 15 kilohertz. Question is, could you hear it? Some people with really sensitive ears can hear that. And notice that the Saramonic K9 also does it, but it seems like it's to a slightly lesser extent. Could you hear that? Another valid question. And then notice that the Sound Devices A10, A20 Astral system doesn't appear to be filtering or gating at all. Did it sound better to you in the high frequencies? Again, we're not comparing the microphones necessarily. So, what's my conclusion? This is a little tricky here, but let me say this. Depending on your audio quality goals and expectations and how sensitive your hearing is, any of these systems may or may not be good enough for your projects and your expectations and for your hearing. So here's what I would say at a practical level. That was probably not very satisfying, but at a practical level for the THEOS, I would apply a low pass filter at around 16 kilohertz to roll off those artifacts, and everything should probably be fine. And the same thing for the Saramonic K9. While it doesn't exhibit quite as extreme filtering and gating, I would do the same thing just to kind of make sure. So for those people that have really sensitive ears in your audience, if you roll that off with a low pass filter, it shouldn't be a problem. For the Sound Devices, well, no need to do any sort of filtering or anything if your mix doesn't need it, but also get ready to pay literally 8 times more for the same 2 channels of wireless. So my point is this. Number one, trust your ears. I had someone leave a comment on my DEITY THEOS review saying, I don't trust Curtis anymore because he led me astray. He said the THEOS was good, but I got it and the audio quality was terrible. But that entire review was recorded with a THEOS. So my question is did you turn your ears off or did you turn the volume down and just read the captions? I gave you raw samples of what it sounds like. So trust your ears. You're hearing the K9 system right now. You heard those raw samples. I've given you raw wave samples. You got to listen to them if you're really serious about buying this and you want to know what the audio quality is like. And then number two, yes, there are differences between these systems. It does look like the Saramonic is not being as aggressive at gating and filtering and making that weird high frequency stuff. So that's good. Good job, Saramonic. I would say this also to wrap up. For corporate video, for indie films, for education videos, for YouTubers, anything with a lower budget or no budget, I think you can get by with the Saramonic K9 or the DEITY THEOS systems in terms of audio quality without a problem. Just do that low pass filter that I'm talking about. Top level pros may even use these systems, but they'd probably use them for camera hops, getting audio from the sound mixer over to the camera, or for IFB to get mixer sound over to a director or a producer or other crew member. But they'll probably still invest in the high-end pro systems for top quality audio capture for the film itself or the TV show itself. And this is going to be for larger budget productions, obviously. Things like Hollywood and Atlanta productions that are actually going to TV and so on and so forth. So that is the look at audio quality compared in particular to the THEOS system, which is the biggest, I would say, competitor to the Saramonic K9. I'll be back with more tests. There's a lot more to look at with these systems. In the meantime, get out there and make some great sound, and we'll talk to you again soon.